This guy was charged with mercilessly beating a man by bashing him in the face 40 times and then strangling him. That's what Fox News was reporting about it. And then the victims were there, and she's like, you get out of here.
Yeah, I
just want to give advice to everybody. If you're ever referencing a beating, you always have to add the word merciless.
Yeah.
It strikes, you know.
Really
what I mean?
gets the point across.
Like if you were going to say someone beat a child, you have to say they mercilessly beat a child.
Your movements too, also really.
Yeah, you got to just boom. Amazing. So in this regard, I've been talking about Trump using wartime, like being a wartime president. I did not make this up. Will Chamberlain was talking about this years ago. What it means is you are in a state of crisis or conflict. It does not mean active war like bombs are dropping. What it means is be a president who uses his authority to uphold the rule of law and protect your country, and don't be this wishy-washy, we don't want to do these things because Democrats will do it too. The point is they're already doing it. Democrats are outright saying right now they are doing illegal things, and they view it as heroic. That's the narrative.
I think the posturing is also very ridiculous because Democrats and progressives have been posturing as though like, oh, Trump doesn't like this judge's decisions, and that's why he arrested the judge. But that's not why. It's because the judge was breaking the law, and nobody in this country is above the law. And actually, in today's press briefing at 8:30 a.m. that Caroline Levitt held, a journalist asked,
salty.
I was a little bit salty. It was also like post their ball weekend, but somebody asked her whether more judges or judges higher up would be considered for arrest, and then she said she wouldn't answer hypotheticals. But I was just thinking to myself, anybody can be arrested if they break the law. It doesn't matter what judge you are. Donald Trump was famously arrested and he had a mugshot taken. So clearly nobody is above the law in our country. So that's why I think the posturing on trying to say, oh, he's coming after the judges. Judges who break laws need to be gone after.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, the fact that they're trying to distract from the fact of the matter is the left is trying to distract from the reality of the situation, which is that the judge broke the law. The narrative that you hear from the left is, oh, he's going after judges, as if they had not broken the law. It's totally normal to go after a judge that has broken the law.
Anybody who breaks the law.
And yes, but the idea that judges are somehow above the law or sacrosanct or can't, their honor would never be impugned. They can't. You can't imagine that a judge would ever do something illegal. Well, of course they would. They're human beings. But this deification that the left is doing is all just about performing a function, which is to fool the viewer, the American people, into thinking that Donald Trump is doing something that he's not. And this is the MO of the left for the past 10 years. We go ahead.
And so nobody should be above the law, but that's not what we've seen in practice. We've seen where people pick and choose, and to me, if there is a law on the books, well, we should be following it. If you don't like the law, change the law. That's why we have a government that's supposed to be for the people, by the people, is that if there's laws that we think, should be changed, we'll just go in and change them rather than decide, oh, well, we're not enforcing that. Oh, well, we're not going to prosecute this person. This
is all about narrative building and about deceiving the American people. You mentioned the whole what they called it, nerd ball or whatever, the White House Correspondents' Dinner that they had, and
those awful.
Are you going to talk about it?
I attended no parties, by the way. I feel like it's so strange too. I was invited to a party, but I thought it was weird to be like rubbing backs with like even Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
It just felt wrong. Like I'm supposed to be covering you, not like slapping backs, drinking beers.
Fair enough, but the point is, if you listen to a lot of the speeches that were being made, they were trying to cover for themselves all weekend. They were saying, oh, well, we missed this. We missed Biden's decline. We have to do better. They don't trust us because we didn't see this. And that is a blatant lie. They were party to the deception. They intentionally did not report these things. It wasn't about, this slipped by us. They
were the cover-up, and now they're trying to cover it up again.
Absolutely.
Well, and the reason why they can get away with this narrative thing is because people have such short attention spans. They'll be scrolling along on their phone. They'll read the headline and be like, oh, well, this news agency said it, so it must be true. And then they move on and they scroll past it and they just believe it.
Do you believe do you believe most people believe it? Now, granted, it may be because I'm in a bubble, but I feel like people don't believe that. I
believe what? The headlines?
believe that the media missed that Joe Biden was bad. Anybody that paid attention to Joe Biden,
They do believe that.
do you think that even people
Dude,
people
it
that
is a cult,
paid attention?
man.
I'm talking about people that act. I'm not talking about the people that are.
I understand. Like, the average person does believe the media made a mistake. Bro, I'm going to say it again. Hassan Piker did not know that Abrego Garcia was from El Salvador. I really want to drive this home because the dude's so influential. When I went to the White House,
But he's so dumb, and that's part of the thing.
that's my point. That's where they're getting information from. So look, I will give some sympathy to Hassan. He reads an article and it says a Maryland man was deported, and the first thing he thinks is some working class guy from Maryland was snatched up on accident and sent to El Salvador to go to prison, when in reality, it is a gang member from El Salvador who was arrested under suspicion of human trafficking in the past, who had been ordered to deport twice, who was adjudicated by two different immigration judge panels, first a judge, then a panel, as being a member of MS-13. And the only error was that he was supposed to get a USCIS interview before being deported. That is proper protocol. I go to the White House. I bring up the Maryland man hoax. Hassan Piker's response was, he's not from Maryland. Boy, he's from D.C. Like, is that what he's trying to say? Like, no, dude, he's not from Maryland. And then he tried to save face after the fact, but he really did not know. So you think that, as dumb as you think Hassan Piker is, Phil, that the average person watching him believes the media intentionally covered up Joe Biden?
So when I say the average person, I'm not thinking about the people that are watching left-leaning streamers. I'm talking about the people that consume maybe an hour of news. Again, when I'm talking about normies.
I genuinely think normies were probably like, wow, how'd the media miss that one?
I think that normies.
Or that he declined while he was in office and that it got worse over time.
Real bad. It was a downward spiral of decay.
That's the thing. I feel like most people, because like when I talked to the guys that were like some of the guys that were in the band, right? They knew Joe Biden wasn't there.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.